What are you doing in my garage? Oh, you want to know a bit about my EF XR6? Well, I've got a few minutes to kill. Let's go. Today, we're diving into one of Australia's true iconic legends, the EF XR6 Ford Falcon. Whether you're a long-time fan or just curious about this iconic Aussie muscle sedan, this video will cover everything you need to know. History and engine specs and handling, to common issues, buyers tips, and why it's still so popular today. Let's jump in. EF Falcon was introduced by Ford in Australia in 1994 and ran until 1996. It was the third generation of the Falcon, a nameplate that dates all the way back to the 1960s and has been a staple in Australian motoring ever since. Now, the EF Falcon was a big leap forward in terms of design, technology, refinement, compared to its predecessor, the ED Falcon. Ford really invested heavily in improving ride comfort, handling, and safety while keeping that unmistakable Aussie muscle car vibe alive. The XR6 variant, like what I've got, is a very sporty inline-six powered model, sitting below the V8 XR8, but still loved for its blend of performance and reliability. It was designed to appeal to the driver who wanted a bit of fun without having the high fuel prices and fuel consumption of a big V8. Oh, you're still watching? Great, because I got a lot more to talk about. The EF Falcon introduced a more aerodynamic body shape with smoother lines and a modern look that was quite advanced for the mid-90s. It had a lower drag coefficient, which helped with both fuel economy and stability at speed. The XR6 model features quite sporty styling cues, things like exclusive alloy wheels, sexy Tickford badging, and a stylish red stripe. Not to mention the iconic four-eyed headlights. Inside, the EF offered more comfortable and refinement. The dashboard was updated for better ergodynamics, and the seats were very comfortable, providing a lot more support, especially in the XR6 models with the extra bolsters and especially adjustability on the driver's side. Features like power windows, air conditioning, and of course cruise control were available, making it a well-rounded daily driver. Now let's check under the bonnet, take a look at the heart of the beast. The big 6-cylinder, 4-litre SOHC. SOHC obviously standing for a single overhead cam. So this engine came in before the Intech and obviously well before the Barra. But basically it's still a 4-litre 6. This came out with 164 kilowatts or 220 horsepower at about 5,000 RPM and pumped out earth-bending 366 Newton meters of torque. Now, you gotta admit, this thing looks better than a Barra. It might not be as smooth and as powerful, but it looks better. And popular opinion is they definitely sound a lot better too. Put a decent cam in one of these and it'll sound beautiful. A stage 3 or stage 4 Crow cam. People say there's better cams, but chuck a cam in it, it sounds beautiful. You know, although it's not the most powerful engine on the market, this 6-cylinder delivered a smooth and linear power curve. Had very good low down torque and medium to high torque. It was a very torquey engine, being a big 4-cylinder, I guess. So they were sort of a good mix of, if you want to do a bit of spirited driving, but also really good for cruising. Great on the highway. I have different diff gears, obviously being in the XR6, but I've got 3 4.5s in the rear. But it sits on about 1900 at 100 kilometers an hour. So, very effortless torque and power. Look, in the day, it was pretty quick. It could probably do 0 to 100 in around 8 seconds. Maybe quicker, if with a few mods, obviously. Some say 8.5 seconds. Who knows the real number, but they're a decent little car, especially for the 90s, really. So there was 2 options for gearboxes in these. It was either the T5 5-speed manual, or what I've got is the 4-speed auto, BTR. Both great boxes, both work well. Thanks to its improvements in the chassis and suspension, the EF XR6 offered a better handling than the previous Falcons. And if you want even better handling, put a set of even just some king springs in it, and some shorter shocks. I've got super lows in this, and it just sits nicely, just at legal height, but just gives it a bit firmer suspension, bit firmer around the corners. The steering was more responsive than previous models, giving it better feedback and control, which helped the XR6 feel more connected to the road. So with any older car, the EF XR6 or EF Falcon in general has its share of common issues. For one, the cooling system is an area to watch out for. A lot of cooling hoses. I've got a couple that are leaking a little bit, but probably the radiator, just to check there's no leaks underneath if you're looking to buy one. The fuel pump's another one, just because, 29-year-old car like mine. I have a feeling my fuel pump was going for a bit when I didn't drive for a while, but it could have been the fuel filter. So I haven't actually changed it because it started just running perfectly again, but something like that might just be a maintenance thing. Always change the fuel filter, regularly, or, if you buy one yet, you don't know what it's been like. Could have a rusty tank if it hasn't been running for a while, so change that out if you do buy one. But just keep in mind if you do test drive one, just look out for some misfires. It could be something as simple as spark plugs. I changed all my spark plugs not long ago, and it had a little bit of a miss here and there, but that fixed it all up. Another one's the spark plug leads. That I've had problems with that before. I thought there was a problem with my engine, but ended up just being one of the spark plug leads, either a bit loose or just need a new one. Issues, a bit of rust. Just about all of them are going to have probably a little bit of rust in the seal panel, so just check that at least, or even at the bottom of the doors. If you can get in underneath and look actually underneath, mine's got a bit of a hole in one of mine, but this side's pretty good. The other side's a little bit rustier, but yeah, look underneath. That's something to look out for because that might affect you. If you're buying something without a roadworthy, that might be something that might cost a few $1,000s to fix just to get it on the road. So that's one to look out for. Another one is sort of just in the wheel arches. If you do just a maintenance thing, you always sort of clean up under there when you are cleaning it, because it's dirt just gets stuck under there, especially if someone's had their guards rolled a little bit. So mine haven't been rolled, so it's sort of the water just comes and dirt just sort of washes out. But especially in the rear, if someone's got, had some big Simmons or something on there, had the guards rolled, and then the dirt's got caught up there, and then the dirt gets wet, obviously, and turns into mud, and then just, especially if they live near the beach or something, as the salt gets stuck under there, and that'll just rust out. So, and then, it's hard. The best thing about these cars is the rear quarter panel that sweeps all the way to the roof, so it's a massive panel, but if that starts rusting out and having problems, you don't want to do that. That's going to be a very costly exercise to replace a rear quarter. Like any old car, just regular servicing, particularly just oil changes. Oil and an oil filter doesn't cost much for a car like this, $50, and you do it yourself in half an hour, and just do that every 5,000 kilometers, because why not? At least every 10,000 kilometers, or once a year, every 6 months. They used to say every 10,000 Ks or 6 months for these cars. So I don't drive my car, not even nearly, probably only 5,000 Ks a year. So as long as I do it once a year. If more often, better. But yeah, just keep on top of the maintenance, and these things will run forever. In saying that, the head gasket is another issue. Just check for leaks around the head gasket. Check for misfires. When you are driving, if it hesitates off the start, or when you give it a bit of power, if it hesitates, it could be a head gasket issue. If you could possibly check for compression, if you're buying one. Get a compression tester. That would be awesome, because then you're not in for a head gasket. If you are, it's something you can do yourself. It takes time and a little bit of money. You can probably do it for $400 or $500. You need the head gasket kit. You need your head probably reshaved. I did it a few years ago with no mechanical experience, just off the internet how to do, and I did it. So it can be done. If I can do it, anyone can do it. I had no mechanical experience, and it's run beautifully ever since. I put a AU multi-layer steel head gasket in off like an AU Falcon. They fixed the problem in the AU, so use one of their head gaskets because they fit, and you'll actually get a little bit more compression, so the engine will run better anyway. So if you do have to do that, do it yourself. You can pay someone to do it, but I don't trust mechanics, because they don't probably care about old cars like this. They'll probably get the apprentice just to do it. He might have not have done it before, and not dissing mechanics, but I'd rather just do it myself. Spend $500 on all the tools and all the things you need, and just do it yourself, and then it's done properly. The thing about these cars is there are still a lot. They're getting a bit more expensive, but especially if it's a standard EF, the XR6, XR8 parts are a bit harder to find. Like these, even though they did remake these recently. Obviously the front bumpers, they're cracked and stuff, that's going to be a bit more costly. But a regular EF or EL Falcon, there's a lot still around. Yes, they're probably getting harder to find one in nice condition, but there's a lot, probably in a way a good thing that there's a lot being wrecked and parted out. So you can always look on Facebook Marketplace and you'll find yourself some parts. But the thing is, they're still out there. Still old grandmas and grandpas out there have only probably done 100,000 Ks in these cars, and I thought my car hadn't done many. It's done 300,000 Ks in 29 years, which it did a lot in the first 10 years of its life, but it hadn't done much since. But yeah, they are definitely still out there, and they're still cheap. I find the EF and ELs are still pretty cheap. The EDs, XRs are getting expensive. I love one of them myself, but I guess they're getting crazy expensive. So I think these are probably the cheapest Tickfords you can probably get. Maybe the AUs, but these are it's a cheap way to get into a Tickford. Probably the EF at the moment. XR6, the XR8s, demand a bit more money, especially if they're manual. But yeah, they're a great car. Now, if you want more power out of these things, there's quite a lot of things you do. A lot of aftermarket parts. There's companies like TI Performance, for example, that sell all different parts, cams. You get, like I said before, a Crow cam, stage 3 or 4. Mainly just that'll really make it sound good. It'll give it a bit more power up top as well. Some headers. I've got pacemaker 4499s, pacemaker 4480s. I have another very popular option, especially if you have ported and polished your head and got a decent cam. I mean, there are bigger intake kits for it and things. I'm quite happy with mine at the moment. I did have just a pod filter on here when I was on my P plates. It sounds cool. It sounds almost like you got a turbo, but I'm probably sucking in hot air. So, I mean, some people modify the boxes, cut some holes in here. I don't know if that's the limiting factor. Probably the exhaust and probably the cat. I need a high flow cat of mine, just because I need to replace the cat and the rest exhaust anyway. But for a high flow cat, maybe $200. For a cat back exhaust, say like a redback or something, about $300. Easy to fit up yourself, or even just take it to an exhaust shop. They wouldn't charge much because they're off the shelf items, and they're quite cheap, $300 or $400, and you get yourself a cat back exhaust. I reckon they do need some lowering springs. I've just got super lows on mine, and it sits pretty nice. I love it a bit lower, especially in the back, but some people put super lows or super lows or ultra lows in the back, but I like mine. It's at legal height. It gets over speed bumps. But I reckon that's a good, nice height. Always a nice exhaust tip. I wouldn't mind just putting a slightly bigger dump pipe just for something different. But when I get my new exhaust, but yeah, that's just the off the shelf. I think 3-inch chromey. Just makes it, just those little touches just make it look a little bit better, a little bit nicer. Chrome valve caps and valve stems, stuff like that. Just makes it all look a bit better. They also, a lot of cars have the hammer-on weights. Make sure I got all mine off and they're balanced on the back side, and where they have hammered them on, I don't know if one of these ones, I've just touched that up, but it just makes it look so much cleaner. So they hammered on there. I've done a touch up, but wrong color paint. But from back, it looks just so much cleaner when you don't have any silly weights. It's a criminal offence really, banging on balancing weights on the outside of your wheel. I know it's probably a bit easier for the tyre shop to balance your tyres doing that, but yeah, no, it just looks so much cleaner like that, I reckon. So if you're looking to get into a Tickford, they're turning into classics now, 29 years old, so anything over 25 these days, you can put this on Club Rego and only have to pay $200 a year or less for Rego. So go get yourself one. I think interest rates are going down, so I reckon these things are going to start going back up again. So it's probably the time to buy a Tickford or something special like this. I would buy one. They shot up over COVID, but they've probably hit the bottom of the market now. So if you're looking to buy one, I'd buy one probably sometime this year before prices start going back up again. I know myself, I've got a bit of a passion for a certain Holden I'm looking for. They're still quite expensive, but I reckon they're at the bottom of the market right now. Yeah, I'm hoping to get this Falcon a Holden friend. So I know a lot of the Ford lovers might not like that, but I'll get a lot of attention from the Holden guys. So I think there might be a Holden coming to the channel, but we'll see. We'll see if I can find one. I want a specific model and spec, so it'll take a while to find one, probably, hopefully not, but got to be manual. It's got to be V8. Yeah, I want something different this time. But this car's staying, so don't worry. I'm not getting rid of the XR6.